You're watching Local 5 News at 5 in HD. We are Iowa's most accurate weather team, and we start with your forecast first.
Well, hi, everyone, and happy Friday. We've made it here. We had some sunshine today. There are some high clouds coming in as expected. They'll be here for the next couple of hours, but still it doesn't diminish what has been a very nice day, and it's going to get warmer. We had 60s today. We're doing 70s the next 2 days as we head into the weekend. It will be milder overnight, too. That south wind will keep us in the 40s overnight. 68 tomorrow by noon and 76 for a high. Looking good. I'll have the rest of your forecast coming up.
I'm Jacob Peklo. I'm here in Bondurant, where there was a triple homicide investigation overnight, what they were able to do to track down the suspect, and what's next in that investigation.
Remembering the victims. Who was the Nicholson family and what do they mean to the community? I'm Alex Wilson, and I'll tell you why this fairway here in Ankeny has so many memories of Tawny Nicholson.
This Supreme Court seat is a lifetime appointment, and Neil Gorsuch is officially taking the spot. But it wasn't without a fight on Capitol Hill.
Local 5 News at 5 in HD starts now. We are Iowa.
Welcome to Local 5 News, home of WeAreIowa.com. I'm Stephanie Engelson.
And I'm Jack Miller. Thanks for joining us tonight. We begin with team coverage of the Bondurant murders tonight. Right now, Polk County detectives are on their way to Neosho, Missouri. They're going down to get 20-year-old Chase Nicholson of Bondurant. He's a suspect in the murders of his mom, Charla Nicholson, his dad, Mark Nicholson, and his older sister, Tawny Nicholson. All three found dead inside their home at Northeast 88th Street in Bondurant. Police found them there around 9:30 last night. Local 5 has team coverage of this triple murder tonight. Jacob Peklo is live outside the Nicholson's home with a timeline of how and when this all happened. Jacob?
Yeah, Jack, Stephanie, that's right. There's still a lot of information to tie up in this case, a lot of loose ends still to work with. We know that a welfare check was put in last night around 9:30 or so, but we don't have a lot about the nature of that welfare call, why exactly it was put in. Detectives have not released a lot of information regarding that. We do know that when deputies got there, though, they found 3 people dead inside the house, and the 4th member of the family was not there. That put Chase Nicholson quickly in a discussion of persons they wanted to talk to.
We're dealing with a triple homicide at this time. There's still many pieces to be put together.
Polk County Sheriff's deputies were sent to this Bondurant home around 9:30 Thursday night. When they got there, they quickly found out 3 people inside the home were dead. Another family member was gone. Around 9 a.m., the victims were identified as Mark, Charla, and Tawny Nicholson.
And at this time, we do have a person of interest that we'd like to speak to. It's a 4th Nicholson, a Chase Marcus Nicholson. He's 20 years old. Evidently, they all live at this address.
As the search continued, the sheriff's office encouraged people to watch out for Chase's car, and if they saw it, to call police. Meanwhile, the Iowa State Patrol and the county continued to search around the house. Chase remained their only person of interest.
Since he could be a member of the household, we want to make sure we make contact with everybody and make sure not only he's safe, but we have the whole story.
Around 10 a.m. Friday, a material witness warrant was put out for Chase Nicholson. And after nearly 14 hours of searching, the sheriff's office got its man. Nicholson turned himself into police in Neosho, Missouri, and Polk County sent detectives to meet with him.
It's excellent taking care of this and getting him in custody so that our detectives can talk to him and find out what's going on and what happened.
Even though the big development did not end the investigation, the sheriff's office says the major threat is over.
And the sheriff's office wants to advise everyone we feel that there's no threat to the community at this time.
Of course, the big questions that still remain in this case is how this happened and why it happened. Police have, as we mentioned, not given a lot of details about that. We do know the medical examiner was in and out here in less than an hour this morning, so there wasn't a whole lot for them to stay and linger about. We'll have much more as we find out more information about this case. But we'll bring you more later tonight, but for now, live in Bondurant, Jacob Peklo, Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
All right, Jacob, thank you. And again, Polk County deputies should be arriving there in Neosho, Missouri tonight. They'll be talking to Chase Nicholson there and most likely be bringing him back to Iowa.
So who exactly are the victims in this case? Local 5 continues to look into who these people were. As we are finding out, they were beloved by many.
Yeah, again, they are 56-year-old Charla Nicholson, 58-year-old Mark Nicholson, and 24-year-old 63-year-old Tawny Nicholson, all of Bondurant. We spoke with neighbors of the family today. They say it was a quiet place to live. The family was as nice as could be.
Local 5's Amanda Krenz is here now with more on the shock of the people who live near this tragedy.
Stephanie and Jack, the neighborhood in this particular part of Bondurant was basically like a family. They all had known each other for years. They went to graduation parties. Kids all played together, basically grew up together.
Yeah, they're the same age. I mean, they're both out of college now, but I mean, when we first knew them, they were in grade school in Bondurant, and you know, they'd be over here, and sometimes the family would be over picking them up, or we'd drop them off. I mean, it was just neighbor stuff. I mean, just like the rest of the neighbors around here. I mean, everybody kind of knows everybody. And
now, Tawny Nicholson, the daughter, used to babysit a family that lived almost right across the street for many years, and we talked to that mother on the phone today who said Tawny spent a lot of time at their house and with her children. She said that she was a very sweet, kind-hearted young woman who was starting to make a bright future for herself.
And then when we got the news that the third person was Tawny, you know, telling the boys, it was really hard.
Now, Callie, the woman there on the phone that I spoke with, also knew Chase Nicholson. She said she did go to his graduation party from high school, said he played with her kids on occasion, but didn't know him nearly as well as she knew Tawny. Live in the studio, Amanda Krenz, Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
Amanda, thank you.
Tawny worked both in Des Moines and Ankeny, and during her time at those jobs, she made an impact on co-workers and friends. Local 5's Alex Wilson has more.
One of the 3 victims was Tawny Nicholson, and she worked here at the Ankeny Fairway. And former co-workers reflected on her time here and her as a friend. Many of Tawny's friends and co-workers took to social media to express their sympathy. Lindsay Wyman posted, "So sad that one of my old co-workers and friends passed away. Tawny Nicholson always had a way of making people smile and laugh, helping them feel at ease." Another co-worker says, "Confused, sickened, and my stomach is in knots right now. I can't believe we lost one of the sweetest and most kind-hearted soul that was out there." Other friends remembered some of their favorite memories together. Tawny most recently worked at American Equity Life Insurance. An employee says the staff was pretty shaken up and that Tawny had a lively personality. Just going through Tawny Nicholson's Facebook page, you could tell that she was adored by many, and many are mourning the loss of their friend tonight. Reporting in Ankeny, Alex Wilson, Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
We are continuing to learn more about Charla and Mark Nicholson tonight.
Charla was a school teacher for 30 years in the Des Moines School District. She taught at Cattell Elementary since 1999 and was at Goodrell Middle School prior to that. Local 5 will have more on the victims tonight on Local 5 at 6 and at 10. For all our coverage on the Bondurant murders, please visit our website, weareiowa.com.
New tonight on Local 5 News at 5, a man drowned in Cass County on Thursday. 63-year-old Roland Henderson of Wyoda was found along with his kayak and paddle in Lake Anita Park. Investigators did not find a flotation device at the scene.
I'm making national headlines tonight. Today, President Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Neil Gorsuch, gets confirmed. This comes after an unusual procedure where Republicans invoked a dramatic change in Senate rules called the nuclear option. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has the latest.
The question occurs on the confirmation of Neil M. Gorsuch of Colorado to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court.
Judge Neil Gorsuch has a clear path now to the Supreme Court bench only after a unique change in Senate rules.
The ayes are 54. The nays are 45. The nomination is confirmed.
For 2 days, most Democrats tried to block this vote from happening with a short-lived filibuster.
This is an extreme nominee from the far right.
And they succeeded, but that's when Republicans decided to go nuclear, breaking out the so-called nuclear option in order to vote today to confirm Judge Gorsuch by 51 votes instead of the historically needed 60 votes.
Unfortunately, it has brought us to this point.
But Democrats say they didn't start this fight. Many are still angry after Republicans didn't give President Obama's nominee, Merrick Garland, a chance to fill the vacancy. And that was more than a year ago.
They were the ones that wouldn't give Judge Garland a hearing.
This is not how Supreme Court justices have been confirmed in the past. But this latest power move by Republicans clears the way for Gorsuch.
There's a reason it was dubbed the nuclear option. It's the most extreme measure with the most extreme consequences.
The swearing-in ceremony for Gorsuch will take place in D.C. sometime next week when President Trump is back in town. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, New York.
We want to know what you think of Gorsuch being confirmed. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search We Are Iowa or send us an email at news@weareiowa.com. You can also call us at 800-858-5555. Tell us how Local 5 can be on your side.
One day after those U.S. airstrikes in Syria, a warning from the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Ambassador Nikki Haley told members of the Security Council today that the U.S. is prepared to take further action against Syria, but hopes it won't be necessary. Last night, President Trump ordered a missile attack on a Syrian Air Force base in reaction to this week's chemical weapons attack. 59 Tomahawk missiles were launched from U.S. destroyers, the USS Porter and USS Ross, in the Mediterranean Sea over a half-hour period.
It is in this vital national security interest of the United States to prevent and deter the spread and use of deadly chemical weapons.
The Syrian government denounced what it is describing as an illegal action targeting one of our air bases against our sovereignty. This marks the first time the U.S. military intentionally targeted Assad's forces since the beginning of Syria's civil war.
Coming up on Local 5 News at 5, riding in an Uber to get to the hospital, why some are using the app in an emergency.
And next, the unemployment rate continues to take a dip across America, but why it's not all good news on the job front tonight.